Hello everyone, welcome to Coding with Ishan. Today in this video we are going to talk about OOPS concept in Java. In the continuation of Java series, today we are going to talk about OOPS concept in Java and OOPS overview basically. And generally OOPS concept is common in every programming language, but we see in this video how OOPS is being implemented in Java, right? So first, before moving to the ahead of that OOPS concept, first we will be seeing that basic difference between procedural programming system and object oriented programming system, which is called as OOPS, right? So you can see the notes. And what is the OOPS means? OOPS means object oriented programming, means object के around ही programming revolve करेगी. Basically everything works in the object manner, right? Object means real world entity like car, ATM, bike, etc. It can be a student also, and every real world thing is called be a object, right? So first we will see the basic difference between procedural programming and OOPS. So when we see first point of procedural programming, the program is divided into the parts called function, and OOPS program is divided into objects, right? This is the main thing, and this is a very important thing. So what we can say that when we work on C, like if you have a study about C, we work on function, right? Function which is add, and it will be returning some, like you can say that a plus b, addition of two number. You can see that it will returning to the addition of two numbers, right? If it we can be a be a 5 and b be a 5, what it will return? 10. It will return 10, right? Second point, procedural programming does not provide a way to hide a data, give importance to function, and data moves freely. Means it does not provide a way, मतलब इसके पास कोई तरीका ही नहीं है किसी की डेटा को हाइड करने का. But in OOPS concept, object provides a data hiding, give importance to data. This is very important concept, and in the today's world, why we are using OOPS, it is because of this. OOPS provide very good features to have build a scalable system, right? When we move on next point, third point, in procedural programming, overloading is not possible. In this OOPS, overloading is possible, because in procedural programming it's the older way to do the coding. So in this OOPS, overloading is not there. Method overloading basically. In OOPS, method overloading is possible with the help of, we can use polymorphism concept. In this we use method overloading. Why we use, what is this method overloading? In further more video I will be explaining that, right? And next point, inheritance is not possible. Inheritance something like a feature. Inheritance itself explains its feature, means when you inherit some properties, like from parents, from a father you inherit something, from a mother you inherit something, right? In OOPS, inheritance is possible. This is very important point. In procedural programming, code reusability does not present, but in OOPS, code reusability is present. How it's work? When we can use like in this code reusability, the concept of OOPS is uses polymorphism. One code act as a different thing, right? One code as act as something like a plus b, one code as act as a minus b. That is something of a method overloading, method overriding, whatever the concept is, I will be explaining more in video, right? So we can see that what are the example of procedural programming? Pascal, C, Fortran, etc. These are the older languages, right? And these languages are derived from this, right? Earlier in the 90s era, the C++ gave the first language which we have given the concept of OOPS, right? After that we have Java, C#, Python, and in the continuation of series the languages are coming, right? So I will be explaining each and every concept in such a manner that every beginner, intermediate, and expert level can understand this. And I'm not bound, and I explaining in such a manner that I'm not bonding to the hardcore coding. I will be giving the very basic example, and I've created the short notes, and I will be providing the short notes in the form of Notion pages after the videos, right? And I will be providing the notes of Java series also, right, with the help of Notions, right? So we will be deep dive into the next concept, which is the building block of OOPS. See, this part is very important, understand it very well, right? These are the two building blocks, object and classes. First we see object. Object has two things. Object has, one is properties or a state of behavior or a function. So see this line, I will be have written this line earlier. Object know something, attributes means इसको कह सकते हैं हम variables. Object के पास कुछ variables होते हैं, right? Object के पास कुछ variables होते हैं. And object know does something. Object know something, attributes variable. Object does something, behavior means method, function, right? फॉर एग्जाम्पल हम आपको दिखाते एग्जाम्पल, आपको और अच्छा क्लैरिटी आएगी. डॉग इज एन ऑब्जेक्ट बिकॉज it has a properties like age, color, breed, etc. And it has a behavior which act as a function or a method, bark, sleep, eat, etc. Another example is this, you can see this. Car is an object, right? Because it has, every object has its any data member and member methods, right? Data member is also known as attribute, also known as variables. Member method also known as behavior, whatever you call as function, method, right? So mark my words, this is very important, right? Car is an object and it has properties like color, type, brand, weight, etc. Behavior like apply brakes, drive, increase speed, etc. and more. Like class, next thing we will see is class. What is class? Class is a blueprint or a skeleton of an object, right? Every object need class, right? It will provide a blueprint to create an object. To create an object, a class is required. So class provide the template or blueprint from which an object can be created, right? Without the class, right, we cannot create object, right? And object is also without the class, without object you cannot work with the class, right? From class we can create multiple object. To create a class, use keyword class, right? हमें क्लास कीवर्ड का यूज करना है बेसिकली क्लास को क्रिएट करने के लिए. हमने एक एग्जांपल लिखा है, राइट? क्लास स्टूडेंट, राइट? यू कैन यूज कीवर्ड क्लास or whatever you have to create the name of the class is student, and please mention the meaningful name to the class, whatever it's want to know, right? You have to mention that. So every class has data members, data variables which has int age. Int means something like an integer number. String means collection of characters which is name, address. This is very basic example. Data variables और से हम कह सकते हैं data members also, right? Data members. And updates, next thing is update address. What is data method or member method is हम कह सकते हैं basically. This is what, right? You have mentioned this update address. So please mention the meaningful name to the functions or methods so that you can depict and other can get the idea what this function do. So update address means I'm doing the address updation of the student, right? And this is the get method. This is the getter method. Basically what it do, it return the age of the student, data method, right? And next we will see, now let's create an object of the type student. How we create the object of a student? This is reference variable, and with assign operator, with the help of new keyword we create an object, right? Understand, with the help of new keyword the memory allocation behind the scene it's going on in the JVM and the object will be created. This is the default constructor, right? In constructor video you will get more clarity why this thing works in like that. So first understand this thing, right? This is the reference variable. Reference variable means it is pointing to something. A reference variable, right? It is the object called student, object student, and whatever the you have reference variable like engineering student. Engineering student is a reference variable, and you can see this. I will be explaining this. This is pointing to this object. This is doing in the all the stuff in the heap memory. When you will see that video you will get more clarity, right? This is how we create an object, right? Understand, with the what we use student from which we have to create the object. First we take the reference variable which is pointing to the particular student object. With the help of new keyword, the allocation of the memory and all of this thing start, and we mentioned default constructor new student, right? This is the way to create an class, right? You can see this. I will be doing highlighted way, right? I will be providing the notes as it is, right? So next we have OOPS ka first pillar, basically data abstraction. What data abstraction means? Abstraction means when we have to show only necessary thing, when we have to show only that part whatever we want, right? So data abstraction in OOPS is it hides the internal implementation and shows only essential functionality to the user. Like whenever you visit any showroom, the dealer only tells about the how the acceleration is this, what is the features and all of that. It's not show how engine works, how clutch works, right? In Java it can be achieved through interface and abstract classes, right? With the help of abstract classes you can achieve data abstraction, but with the interface you can achieve 100% abstraction, right? Why this I will be explaining in the video, right? Like this example, you can see this car. We only show the brake pedal, and if we press it, the car speed will reduce. But how? That is abstracted from us, right? This is very good example. And another example is very good, cell phone. When we talk or when we call some other person, how the call is made, that is abstracted. Just we get to know about the call is connected, and we are start using doing the conversation, right? Advantage of abstraction. What is the advantages? Why we use? Increase the security of the code, right? It increase the security and confidentiality of the code, and we will seeing this example. Why this? We will see this. Like this is the example. Interface car. We create an interface with the help of interface keyword, and whatever you have to create the interface car, and the curly braces. We have a abstract method. These are the abstracted method. An interface can contain abstract method and non-abstract method also, but this is the abstract method. This not have any body, right? This is abstract method, right? You can see this abstract method, or you can say what is abstract method? A method without body. I can explain this. A method without body is known as without body is known as abstract method, right? It's known as abstract method, or you can say non-concrete method which do not have any body, right? So what we do, we implement, like how we implement, how we do abstraction. We are using the concept of interface and classes, right? Generally we implement a interface called car. The car class implements, this is a class name, right? And we create the curly braces, and we have provided any we have provided the functionality, or we have provided the concrete method, or we have provided any implementation. This is implementation of above method, above abstract method, right? Implementation of above abstract method. This is this, you can get it. Public apply break, right? We mentioned some logical steps, step 1, step 2, step 3, right? So see this example. What I have written is, so when a user call apply break, internally it invoking the step 1, logical step 1, step 2, but also it is hidden from the user, but ultimately it's a car step. So this improves the security, as user is not aware of the internal functionality and only knows about the result, right? It's not know how the internal thing is working, but it's know the upper overview, right? This is very important, and it's used in coding industry in very well manner, right? Second pillar of OOPS, understand this, right? This is a very good example. You can this also see this, right? And second, now we move to second pillar of OOPS is data encapsulation. What is encapsulation? Like encapsulation means when we bound or when we bind, we can say that when we bind data members right, and member methods. Now you can depict or you can get that what is data member and member method. Or we can say that when we bind variables and methods in a single unit, it's called data encapsulation. Why we do? Like, see this. What is encapsulation? I will be explaining this. Encapsulation bundles the data and code working on that data in a single unit, right? Generally, since like when we bind a data member and member variable which is working on a same code, same class, and we bind in a single unit, also known as data hiding. Steps to achieve encapsulation in Java: we declare, first step is we declare a variable of a class as a private, provide a public getters and setter to modify the views of value the variable. When we mention private variable, we cannot write modification, right? So when we mention private name, right, this is the class student, so we mention the getter setter, public string getter, this is return type, getter method which get the right name, right, and this is the setter method. So I will be explaining this. This is some basic example and more detailed example in this notes, right? Advantages of encapsulation: loosely coupled code, better access control, right? See this example, I will be explaining in very layman language. Class doc, it has data members, this is data member, or we can say that variable. What we say that you have to do mention as private string doc, right? So what it will do, it's a data member, and we have a public methods, like we can mention public method also, or getter setter method. Public is a access modifier generally. So if we mention getter method is what? It will return a color of that particular doc. This keyword is used for current invocation of that particular variable, right? So I will be explaining how this keyword and super keyword in later video, right? So this will return color of the doc, this will return color of doc, right? String get means get color. What is depicting is get color. What we are getting? Color of the doc, right? Color of the doc. This is the setter method. We are getting a parameter color, right, string color, and we are setting this with the help of this keyword. This keyword is used to instance and initiate the instance variable and invoking the properties, current invoking properties, right? So this is a very good example. Now let's create an object of this doc type, right? Doc lab is new doc, right? How we create as object? We are not setting this color directly, but we are setting this color of the doc, right, with the help of a reference variable, right? So this is the encapsulation. Lab.set color black and lab.get color, which will return black. So we have not given access to of the variable color of a class doc. Instead we did it with the help of getters and setter method, and return we have access of variable. So this is the encapsulation, which means data hiding. With the help of getter we get the value, with the help of setter we set the value, right? So I hope so you like my video. In the further next part I will be explaining OOPS third principle, which is inheritance, and it's a very important part, right? Also, so I hope so you like my concept, whatever I explained in this video, and for more content related this to Java, system design, AWS, please make sure that like, share and subscribe, and if you have any doubt, please mention in the comment. I will be explaining those concepts, and I will also provide the notes in the form of Notion docs page, right? Thank you.